Bluey is a kids' show, but it's also loved by adults, since the series is packed with details, jokes, and hidden messages that only the grown-ups are able to catch. So, have you noticed all the little secrets scattered throughout the show? Switched rules. Better known as Lucky's dad, Pat is the most energetic neighbor the Healers have. And that's saying something, considering how lively their whole neighborhood is. In a standout episode, this dad completely shook up the way birthday parties were done. The tradition was simple: you make a pass the parcel with several small gifts inside. During the game, the parcel would go from kid to kid, and whoever it stopped on would get a prize, making sure everyone got something. Everyone was happy, everyone was a winner. But Lucky's dad looked at all that and thought, back in the 80s, it was different, and decided to change everything. He suggested there should only be one toy, just one. Chaos broke out instantly. The kids frowned, some cried, and others just went into full denial mode. And the parents? Yeah, they weren't too thrilled either. But after a while, and a few more birthdays, the kids started to learn an important lesson. Losing is normal! You don't always get a prize just for participating. And that lesson, one that took many adults decades to learn, was neatly wrapped up in a single episode of Bluey. We've rounded up 12 moments that only adults picked up on in the world's most famous Blue Pups show. Come along with us now as we dive deeper into the secrets of this incredible Bluey world. Death. Bluey is always ready to pull a prank, and you can see that clearly in several episodes. In the imitation game, it all started bright and early as soon as her dad woke up. But Bandit, being the playful guy he is, wasn't about to let it slide. He decided to prank her right back by heading outside and walking in a super weird way, like a race walker. It was hilarious! Trying to make his daughter chase him, Bandit picked up the pace. But then Bluey spotted an injured budgie on the ground and immediately called her dad over. Bandit rushed over to help, placed the injured bird in a box, and they headed off to the vet. Sadly, the budgie didn't make it. Bandit had already figured the little guy didn't have much of a chance. He even mentioned it had been attacked by a cat, and wasn't surprised when the vet confirmed the budgie had passed. This was definitely a major life lesson for Bluey, who had to face the reality of loss. And it hit a lot of adults hard too, especially when the vet gently talked about the bird's passing. It really caught everyone off guard. Animal behavior. In the Magic Asparagus episode, Chili decides to reveal a big secret to Bluey, that the veggie has magical powers and can turn anyone into an animal. The funny part? They already are animals. She grabs an asparagus stalk and turns Bandit into an animal before anyone else. But the game doesn't stop there. As the fun continues, she keeps transforming him into different animals until finally, he's a peacock. At that point, many might not have noticed, but Bandit starts showing classic peacock behavior, like fanning out his tail and doing a mating dance. It caused a lot of laughs, but just when the game needed a little dose of reality, Bluey threw a curveball. She turned Chili and Bingo into lions, bringing the wild peacock performance to an epic end. Bandit's behavior in that moment is actually typical of peacocks when they're trying to impress a mate. Natural selection. Bandit always has a quick comeback ready, and the Unicorse episode is no exception. The famous puppet, hated by Chili and adored by the kids, completely steals the show. At one point, Bandit's oldest daughter tries to distract Unicorse so she can tell her story in peace. She sweetly asks what he likes to eat, hoping for a few moments of quiet. But Unicorse fires back. He likes to eat kids. It's a sharp, darker joke that went right over most kids' heads but had a lot of adults laughing out loud. Because yeah, Bandit sometimes takes the humor to another level, and it's always hilarious. Before we dive into the next 10 things that only adults noticed in Bluey, drop a comment down below. Siblings forever love? The Healer family is always super close. Everyone's ready to help each other out, and whenever Bandit and Chili need to step out, they leave the girls with a trusted family member. In the episode Double Babysitter, they decide to leave the girls first with Frisky and then with Uncle Radley. According to Chili, she didn't know Bandit's older brother would be free to watch the kids that night. But it's pretty clear she was already playing matchmaker between her best friend and her brother-in-law. And it worked out perfectly. So much so that in the episode The Sign, we see their wedding. During the game of asking questions, the girls threw out some pretty personal ones and ended up touching on the topic of Frisky's ex-boyfriend or fiancé. That's when she revealed she didn't love him anymore, sparking a whole wave of questions from the kids about love and whether it can really last forever. When you're a kid, it's tough to tell the difference between romantic love and other kinds of love. Overcoming. As adults, life doesn't always turn out the way we imagined it would. That can be a little frustrating, especially when things don't go according to plan. Kids, though, often have a much simpler way of dealing with frustration, even if they don't realize it. In the episode Bike, we get a real masterclass in resilience and handling disappointment in a healthy way. Right at the beginning, Bluey tries to ride a bike, but she can't do it. After a few tries, she gives up pretty quickly. Bingo, on the other hand, just wants a drink of water, but can't reach the fountain because she's too small. Muffin tries to put both straps of her bag over her shoulders, but the bag is way too big for her and she can't manage it. Bentley tries to jump up onto the playground equipment but can't because he's too little. That kind of detail is something only adults are likely to pick up on more clearly. Loss. Losing someone we love is hard, whether you're a kid or an adult. But for children, it's often even harder to understand or process what that really means because they're still so young. In the episode Dragon, after lots of hints and speculation about Chili's mom, she finally appears, but not in the way fans had hoped. Sadly, the reveal didn't bring the comfort everyone was expecting. Chili's mother wasn't physically there. She appeared as a memory, bringing up a deep, hidden truth. It turns out she had passed away when Chili was still a little girl, something that must have caused a lot of pain and became a huge part of her journey growing up without her mom. The story reminds us that even in the hardest moments, like losing a loved one, kids, just like adults, go through their own process of healing. And even though the pain is deep, the episode also shows how memories and cherished secrets can help us deal with the sadness in a special way. Rejection. Being rejected is never easy. And in the episode Butterflies, we see Bingo going through this tough experience, getting rejected by both her sister and Judo. When Bingo gets left out, it really hurts. But she also gets a chance to think about what happened and grow from it. The show makes it clear that it's totally normal to feel sad after being rejected, but things can get better when we forgive. The big lesson comes when Bingo forgives her sister, showing that even after hurtful moments, love and forgiveness can heal wounds and bring back harmony. And now's the perfect time for you, if you haven't already, to subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss any updates from the world of Bluey. Old age. As we get older, it's only natural to tire out a little faster, and Chili's dad is no exception. In the episode Granddad, Chili is super worried when she goes to visit her dad, who's just had heart surgery. Instead of resting like he should, he sneaks off with Bluey and Bingo to go do a bunch of physical activities. Bandit's wife gets furious and takes off after them, determined to get things back on track. She finally catches up with her dad on the other side of a lake, where they share a touching moment, reminiscing about the old days. A subtle but important detail many might have missed is when Chili mentions remembering that spot from when she was a kid. With a nostalgic smile, her dad replies that to him, it felt like it was just yesterday. It's a simple line, but it's loaded with meaning, making everyone reflect on how quickly time passes, especially with the people we love. Grumpy old pug. In the episode Granny Mobile, Muffin helps Dulcie sell her late husband's old car, and a truly one-of-a-kind character makes her appearance. Grandma Pug shows up, super stubborn, trying to haggle the already cheap price down even lower. In the end, she actually pays more, giving Dulcie a little unexpected bonus. This episode shows in a funny, lighthearted way how different generations butt heads and how time shapes people in very different ways. Breakup. Since Bluey is a kids' show, you wouldn't expect it to touch on topics like breakups, right? After all, that's grown-up stuff. But in the episode The Sign, we see Frisky practically slam her bouquet down after breaking up with Uncle Radley. And all because he wanted to move her to another city. In case you don't remember, Uncle Radley works on an oil platform way up north in Australia, while Frisky lives in Brisbane with her whole life neatly set up. Imagine having to drop everything? No way! To make matters worse, she didn't even hear it from Radley himself. It was his brother Stripe who dropped the bomb. So naturally, she was furious. Thankfully, they worked things out in the end, love won, and the wedding finally happened. Best of all, no one had to move or start packing up their lives. This little detail definitely stood out to the adults. And besides, Frisky and Uncle Radley are one of the most shipped couples in the whole series. We even talked about another key moment in their relationship earlier in this video, an accidental photo? In the episode Bob Bilby, Bingo has the mission of taking the school puppet on some memorable adventures. But yeah, she didn't exactly follow through. Instead of going out and making memories, she spent most of the time watching TV and messing around with devices. To save the day and help his daughter, Bandit decided to find an old camera buried somewhere in the garage. Anything to avoid relying on tech. Problem solved. But the real scene stealer here was Chili. While Bandit was digging through the garage trying to find the camera, Chili showed up in pure 80s movie style, casually opening the garage door like she was stepping into a romantic comedy. And what did Bandit do? Like a reflex, he snapped a photo of her right then and there. Of course, that little moment flew right over the kids' heads, but it had the adults cracking up. Bluey is truly a show for the whole family, but some scenes definitely fly under the radar for the younger ones and hit home for the adults who are just as in love with the show. If you're a Bluey fan, we've got 2 other awesome videos you'll absolutely love. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.